Welcome, sisters, to Hawaiian Shamanism by Pi'ilani and Red Ten Goddess. Pi'ilani, first off, has so much back history that you're about to find out when it comes to huna and kahunas and learning about Hawaiian shamanism and the ancient mysteries being revealed. And just, I'm so happy. I am a huge fan of huna, and having a sister that knows anything about it is like so awesome. It makes me just want to cry and be just like burst into happy tears. So really happy to introduce Pi'ilani, and she's about to like show you a little voice. I don't know what I don't know. You'll figure out how to explain it, but it's the best and it's gonna be great. And we already have a second masterclass planned now, and I'm just a happy camper tonight. So thank you, Pi'ilani. The floor is yours.
Oh, aloha. Okay, so we are improvising, and so this is an introduction since I don't have my profile up. This is an introduction that was given the last time or 2 times ago that I did a live presentation. So here goes.
Good afternoon. It is now time to begin our program, Hawaiian Healing and the Spirit of Aloha. Allow me to introduce our presenter. She followed her passion to the magical island of Hawaii, and today will share with you some of the ancient healing practices that she was given. Pi'ilani studied in Hawaii with Kahuna Sandra Michaels and Kumuhula Uncle George Neope, considered one of Hawaii's living treasures. She is certified in Hunakane Body of Light Higher Self-Alignment and Hunakane Body Mapping. She is also certified by 2 schools of Lomi Lomi, Sacred Temple Lomi Lomi by Andrew Kawai, and Auntie Margaret style Lomi Lomi. She is a student of Kahana Pono and Ho'oponopono. Pi'ilani is an ordained Bachelor of Divinity through the Universal Brotherhood, as well as Wheeler Fuller's Lively Stones Fellowship. She is a certified master hypnotist, 5-path regressionist, as well as Kundalini yoga instructor. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Hawaiian Healing and the Spirit of Aloha with Pi'ilani.
Okay, there's my introduction. It's very long because I'm pretty old. So I had lots of time to do all those trainings. So aloha, everyone. I'm really excited. A little nervous, but I'm really more excited because I get to share something that I have so much passion for. It is really the essence of and the springboard of everything else I share, all of my yoga, all of the hypnosis, everything, all of the energy work. It's really has its foundation in the Hawaiian teachings because it's steeped in love. It's aloha. It is the spirit of Hawaii is the spirit of aloha, which is love. So so I just want to thank you. Ancient Hawaiian culture is the spirit of aloha. So the ancient knowledge is really about the ability to feel, to sense, and to know all that there is to feel, to sense, and to know. So it's not just an intellectual understanding. It's really very sentient. And the kahunas would teach. They would basically, tell you to quiet down and listen and to feel. They would your na'au, your heart center, but then your gut center, the na'au is really where you take in information. That's why a small child can learn a language in a very short period of time without any accent, is because there's just they take it in through their pores. They're very sentient. So it's more than that information. So in my search for truth, we come to a point in our lives where we have this yearning for truth, and this is just how I found the Hawaiian work. Okay, so we're going to do mo'olelo. Mo'olelo is sacred talking circle. So I'm going to play for you a song it's part of the opening of a sacred ceremony. Okay, so I'm also the conductor here of. Okay, here we go. You're going to hear the conch horns calling spirit in. Just make sure you're breathing. It's time to relax. And just imagine sisters are walking on the sandy beach. We're coming together for sacred circle. The Kumahula is about to do her chant. Okay, so we've called the circle in Mo'olelo, sacred talking circle. And so this evening, first I'd like to teach you the Ha breathing right. So I've got to get over to the screen. Here we go. Can we see this? Can you all see this? Or I just see the screen here. All right. So Jaslyn. Okay. All right. So there we are. We're in the wave, right? So, all right. So I don't know if you can see all of this, but this is the prayer to the Amakula. Okay. So first, before we do any prayer, the Hawaiians breathe the breath of life into the prayer. And so usually they're standing with their feet firmly balanced, like maybe 18 inches apart, like you would in yoga, in order to keep your posture and to have their balance. And then you would take your hands and you would raise them up. You're basically taking the energy from the earth. The palms of your hands are down. You're taking the energy from the earth, and then you're bringing it up through your body. Your body's like that electrical channel. And then you bring it all the way up and you inhale, and then you bring it back down, and we do 3 more. Two. Bring it in even more, deep breath in. And so that's like the Ha breathing right. It's basically you're breathing in the energy of the world, of the earth, and you're bringing it through your body. You're raising it up. Your arms become like a chalice of light. And then as you ha them out, so it's So it becomes cyclical, and your body is that channel. So you become energized. And the chant is, Hele mai ohane, come, spirit, come. Mahalo nui no. Thank you so very much for being with me here, now, today, and always. I invoke thee, that self that is high above me, supporting me gracefully, guiding me in this moment. So make this evening abundant, full, bright, and alive. Bring changes we can embrace. Bring love that can last. E aloha e. Mama. Uanoa. Let it fly out. Let it be heard. And so officially, Mo'olelo, Sacred Talking Circle, is open. So the next thing I want to share with you, the Hawaiians were like these amazing, that the consciousness, they were part of the original teachings of the earth. So the consciousness is in the language, it is in the chants, it's in the hula hula. So I just wanted to share a few words just to demonstrate just a little bit, just to get a taste of how the spirituality is in the language. It was common knowledge. It wasn't like, oh, they know the information, they've got to go to a kahuna to get the information and they don't know it. No, it was in the language. It was just the way things were. So the word aloha, everybody knows that, but they put it meanings inside meanings. So it's alo, which means the joyful sharing of ha, breath. Ohana are people who breathe together. So of course, ohana is the word for family, but it's people who breathe together. So breathing, the ha, is so very important. That's the foundational, because the spirit comes in on the breath through the ha. Hawaii really means kingdom of heaven within. And so when the foreigners came and they said, well, what island is this? Or where are you from? They'd say, I'm from Hawaii. And so they really didn't ask what island it was on. They wanted to know where they were from. So these people were so spiritual. They said, I'm from the kingdom of heaven within. That's my origin. That's where I'm from. And you didn't ask me what land this was, what rock this was. The missions were they called them haules. And so that was actually even distorted because it's ha-ole. But it's kind of like when you start running words together. And so they were neuro-linguistic masters. So it's a high level consciousness in the language. And when the missions came to the islands, they called them haules or ha-oles. And that means people without breath. And so that's just about the biggest insult you can give anyone, because breath was spirit. And so these people, they didn't find they had a soul or a breath or anything. Kahuna is like a master. Ka is the light. Kahu means honored servant, and na to nurture, to care for. So that's what the definition of a kahuna was. Basically, the servant of the people who brought the light and cared for the community. Kupuna is a teacher. So I will say my kumu or my kupuna. And haumana means budding light, source of light. And my favorite word, or one of my favorite words, is the word to bless, and it's po makai. Po is the word for darkness. It's also the word for night, and it's also the word for the underworld. Like mai means to return to, or to return the spirit to. Kai is an abbreviated form of the light of spirit. So literally, to bring the light of spirit to a dark place is how you bless. So for the most part, when we see somebody that's done something really, really awful, it's like, are you kidding me? I don't want to bless this person. I want to smack them in the head. It's like, but in the word is how you get your mind, your head wrapped around the whole thought process in the language itself. So basically, you can't really struggle with the fact that you need to bring the light of spirit into a dark place. So anyway, let's go to the next one. Okay, there we go. So I'm a student of Kahana Pono, and my kumu was Mayalani Keiko Nakapuna, long name. And in Hawaii, when you get a name, you get a birth name, but as you continue to grow, they give you another name. So that's how I got my name. Of course, my birth name is Pamela, but then, you know, after I went through the training, they gave me Pi'i Lani. So Pi'i is the word to ascend, and Lani is to heaven. So that's how I got my name. Yeah. So I've been using it for many, many years. So Kahana Pono is a very simple, and I'm going to they use a lot of stories to share information, because there's not that much conflict, storytelling. And so the most spiritual of the teachings is about the process of Pono, of balance, or bringing yourself from balance, or emotional balance even. So the Hawaiians lived on islands, which were basically tiny bits of land surrounded by a vast ocean. They used expressions such as he vai e ola, the waters of life, which expresses their understanding that life is not static, it's dynamic, it's like an ocean. Okay, let me show my ocean here. And they also understood that you cannot live in the ocean for any extended amount of time unless you've got a really good canoe or you're a really good surfer. So that's how they felt about life. They understood that life was too big, too unpredictable. So when you fall out of the canoe, you're out of Pono, you fall out of Pono into Pilikia, which is negativity. Pono is that safe place, that state of mind where you are connected to spirit greatness, to your higher self. In order to practice Pono, we must recognize our humanness and our ability to really mess things up. Like we forget we are divine beings and we're here to have a spiritual life, and we think that it's by an accident, right? So when we get into big trouble, we have fallen out of the canoe into confusion and pain, and we've messed things up into the fishnet of life. And things keep getting worse if we don't find our way back to the canoe. When we're out of the canoe, we have fallen into Pilikia, and the seas of life have tossed us around. So my kumu goes on to say that there are varying degrees from the canoe. We could be just outside of the canoe. We just fell off, and so we hop right back in. Or we could be a distance away, but we feel like a strong swimmer and we think we're heading back. Or we could be so far from the canoe, it's sitting there on the horizon. Even though we're strong swimmers, we just don't know if we can make it back. Or worse, there's no canoe in sight, and the swells are starting to toss us around. And even worse than that, we haven't seen that canoe in days, and the sharks are circling. So the object is we need to be in Pono, learn how to get ourselves back into balance, and to have that personal awareness. And that's the philosophy of Kahana Pono. It's actually very deep. This was just the explanation of it. So where are you in the high seas of life? So, is anyone here familiar with Ho'oponopono? Any one of you?
All of us.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
all of
think
us.
Missy shared also that she was certified Ho'oponopono.
But she thinks that Monty Python is the evil snake from Harry Potter.
Trust me, I know girls.
Am I hearing somebody talk? Oh, okay, well, all right. Well, is Ho'oponopono. Ho'o is the word to make. And pono, I just explained, is to be in balance. And when the Hawaiians say something twice, like pono pono, they really mean it. It's like balance, like, hey, get there. Ho'o pono pono. Right. So if you have, there's a really amazing book. The Ho'oponopono I was familiar with, it comes from certain lineages. So the lineages I found was really a family mediation practice. But the one that got very popular recently, the Ho'oponopono, where Dr. Ihale Akala Dr. Hugh Len brought out on the scene, and Joe Vitale was the one that wrote the book with him. The one that says, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. That process, as simple as it is, he was able to heal an entire, I guess it was a ward of criminally insane people in Hawaii that were locked away, because he was able to sit there and because of this deep level of forgiveness, he was able to, he was credited with healing them. So anyway, okay. So the bottom line is we need to live aloha and stay pono. All right, here we go. So now we're going to start diving deeper into the secrets of the ancient Hawaiian philosophy. And they call that huna. Huna is the word for secret or not obvious. And that's what it was called after it was overturned. So, so I'm going to tell you a little bit how I came to the Hawaiian teachings, and I ended up in Hawaii. It's, I was working with a mentor, and she met the kahuna. So I went to see her, and then she shared the energy work on me. And after 2 hours of feeling like this heat waves just roll off my body, I knew that I was really different. You know, it was a lot of tears, a lot of heat, a lot of shifts that took place. And so I said, well, I really want to learn this work. I want to go. So she gave me a year worth of homework to do before I was to go to Hawaii. So just before I arrived on the Big Island, I had been fasting for about 30 days. So this fast consisted of herbs and liquid bentonite and psyllium husk. So this was all I existed on for like, it was a massive cleanse. So it was also like a spiritual thing. But this liquid bentonite is hydrated volcanic ash that comes from the Big Island. And this absorbs over 100 times its own weight in toxins. So it was just like absorbing. So the whole process, the reason for this serious cleanse was when in the Hawaiian philosophy is like, you cannot affect the mind without affecting the body. You cannot affect the body without affecting the mind and the spirit. So it's like you're a papaya. You know, it's not a papaya unless it has a skin, pulp, and seeds. So you're the same way. You're a mind, a body, and a spirit. And so this is where I went to do an initiation process. So this was my first level training, was the initiatory process. So I know this is very teachy, but I don't know how else to explain something that has such deep history. So this huna that I was taught goes back about 35,000 years. And you're like, wait a minute, history's only 2,000 years. His story is only 2,000 years. And then maybe we have some other records 5,000 years. But this is a orally literate culture. And this information was actually hidden into the language itself. So it is a very ancient language. It's a sacred language. So let me see if I can, okay. So I'm sharing this screen with you, and this is one of my kumus. This is Uncle George Naopi, and he's Kumahula, which is like the highest level teacher of hula. But hula is not just dancing; it's the lineage, it's the sacred. He was taught by his great-grandmother, his grandmother, his great-grandmother, and his great-grandmother was taught by their great-grandmother. So it was a very long, so he is Ali'i. Ali'i is a direct lineage. So he was considered one of Hawaii's national treasures. He's no longer with us, but before he passed, they documented a lot of his information, which needs to be updated in Wiki. I looked them Huna up on Wiki, and they said Huna was a New Age religion, and so we need to make those changes, because it's an ancient knowledge, it's an ancient culture. Okay, so one of his experiences that was documented in this book called The Lost Secrets of Ancient Hawaiian Huna was how inside the body they believe, and they knew that I could say, I'm going to say no, because we are also rediscovering this information scientifically, that in our body, in our blood cells, in our DNA are actually the memories. That's why the bones were so sacred, of all the ancients. So there is the memory and the information that stood there. So here he is, one of his memories. This is a documented, so I'm reading this because I'm not making this up. The ho'omaka, the initiate, was laid out on a black rock with 5 kahuna doing their work, the 5 lomi lomi kahuna. And as they massaged the ho'omaka for what seemed like days, their chants reverberated out into the cool night air. Each day he went deeper and deeper, and during what seemed like the second day, the images they're remembering came flooding back. He remembered from long ago. The days of the order of Kane had come to an end, and during what seemed like the second, I lost my place. The soldiers of Pa'oa, the Tahitian soldiers, had arrived, and they were killing the old kahuna, burning their temples. He remembered he was a young kahuna, fearing for his life. He remembered that the perfect times were over. The tears came flooding back. They were over. The idyllic time of peace and love and happiness was over. And when he awoke, the kahuna, smiling down at him, said, "Welcome back." He said, "Wait a minute, we weren't the first people here." And she said, "Yes, that's right. There was a time when we all lived in harmony, when people were equally honored and could rise to the highest level with men." And she said, "That's right, little one." He said, "Well, why did things have to change?" She said, "Because things come in cycles, to the highest, to the lowest, and those times are gone, but they will return. It is predicted. The balanced time will return." So what this is telling us, what this experience of his was telling us, was part of the history of his people, because in his body, in his DNA, was actually is the history book, is the memory. So Hawaiian, at the same time on the planet Earth, not only were the Hawaiians had a template for the earth wisdom and love, there were other systems around the globe. For example, Wicca in Europe was a balanced system. There was also in India, there was the tantric system that was overturned by the Vedanta system. The Wicca, they were overturned by, by the Inquisition, by the church. And when they conducted that Inquisition, they reduced the population of Spain by 50%. So we're talking about, it was like a global thing, that it was like a wave of darkness where the information had to go underground. But right now there's a revival of all of this, the revival of the Huna. There's a revival of Wicca, a revival of the Tantra. So we're just in the beginning of this rising up. And right now there's a lot of conflict still coming. The same with the Native Americans and the Aborigines. I mean, all of those earth wisdoms were persecuted. And right now we're still seeing a lot of that turmoil that took place. Okay, so that was the history part of it. So sorry to be so schooly, but it's like to have that understanding, then you begin to understand what it is I was going through when I flew to Hawaii after a month of fasting. So I was put through, I chose to go through a series of initiations. So you say, well, no, this isn't like hazing in a sorority or a fraternity. This was it was like spiritual boot camp, right? So it was experiential, because that's how they believed you learned best. If they can tell you on a piece of paper, but that's just the intellectual thought process. And unfortunately, that's all I'm being able to share with you today is the intellectual portion. So anyway, so there was initiation of, we were like a group of 12, so there wasn't very much. We shared energy work, which I'm going to be sharing more with you on the next class about the energy work. And we did a lot of the dance of creation, which is, like kind of like a Tai Chi that races the energy in the body, a little bit like we were talking about with the prayer, the opening prayer. It was about using the earth energies through your body to increase the mana, to increase the life force energy. So we did this for days, and then we were given these initiations. And of course, they were all optional. If you said, oh, wait a minute, I don't think I'm doing this, this is too much, you just opted out. So there is the initiation for trust, for fire, for air, for water, for earth, for ether, for breaking down barriers, for kundalini rising, for channels of light, love without fear of wild boars, talking trees, mermaid activation, and tricks of the menehune. These were all of the initiatory processes that we were offered. We didn't necessarily take them all. So this is where we did it. There's no, this is Waipio Valley, which is called also the Valley of the Kings. You see the sand on the beach is black. The black sand beach is a volcanic. The Mount Kilauea is very close by. There's a lot of warm baths there. This is on the big island. And if you notice the steepness of Waipio Valley, it's about an 85 or 80 degree angle. So it's super steep. The hiking is pretty treacherous there. So we were in the Waipio Valley. There's, as I said, there's no electricity. There's no cell service. There's no running water. It's like the water there you can drink though, but I mean, rainwater. The water in the river water is basically melted snow from Mauna Kea. So it's really cold. So when you took a bath, it was ice cold. It was like really 40 degree water. So that was like rebirthing in ice cold water. So I'd like to share with you one of my initiation processes, which is my personal experience. Are we ready for that? Would that be okay? Let me see, there we go. Okay. So initiation by fire. Does anyone have any questions before I start this? Can I open up any questions? Is everyone fine? Or, yeah, we're fine. Okay, keep going. All right, good. Okay, initiation by fire is really initiation of letting go of fear of death. So we were woken up at around 3:30 in the morning, and by 4 o'clock we were dropped by the side of the road in the pitch black, because of course there's no light pollution in Hawaii, so you can't even see your hand in front of your face. So you're like, where am I? And so we're led off to the side of the road just in case there's someone driving without their lights on. And we were taught a chant to the Amakua. So Amakua would be like Great Spirit. Amakua, right? Makia manavai, Amakua, Makia manavai. So this chant, we did this for like an hour to make sure we were really, really vibrating and getting it, calling into the higher self. And so as it started to get just a little bit lighter and we were able to see where we were going, we were led to a crater. And so a crater is, it's kind of like where the lava, the magma from the center of the earth decided to find an outlet and come up through the land, and it spews out. And so it spews out and it starts forming this mountain, this kind of a mountain or a big mountain. Mount Kilauea is the biggest crater. So this was our smaller crater. So so we were led up to this hill, that crater. And then when the crater kind of fuses itself out, it kind of like the lava like sucks itself back down, and it creates like a hollow tube, a hole, and then it goes all the way back down underneath the earth. And so it gets small, so it just goes all the way back down. So but what's left behind is this particular one was about 12 feet in diameter, so it was a good size. And well, they told us we needed to go down into the bottom of the crater. And as you go down, first of all, it's very hot and it's very sharp. The lava leaves very, very sharp, almost like glass-like behind black lava. So as we were starting to walk down, we did this one at a time, walking down. So we realized this was our initiation, and we needed to go to the belly of Pele. Pele, Mount Kilauea is where Pele lives. Pele is the goddess of fire. She's a very benevolent goddess, and she can be a very pissed off goddess because she doesn't fool around. You know, anyone that messes with Earth, Mother Earth herself, she'll really be very, very bitchy, right? So we're crawling down and it gets smaller and smaller. So we're starting to feel the intensity because we've been calling this in. Not only that, we've continued to fast. So it's been really weeks and weeks since we had anything too solid in us. And we're doing this on purpose. So the higher self now is, the higher self is really in charge. And whatever it is you need to clear out. And so we're going to go down into the belly of the crater, and it gets smaller and smaller. So now we're down to like 3 feet. and it gets really, really tight and down further. So now we're chanting, but we're chanting because we're scared. And we start to cry, snivel. I'm crying. It's really loud because I'm crying loud. I'm shaking. It's like your mind goes into a different state, an altered state. You're shaking, you're crying, you're snotty, and the sides of the wall are so hot, you have to keep moving, because if you leave your hand in one place, then your hand gets burned. So it's really hot that day. And then down at the bottom, it gets to about 18 inches in diameter. And I'm about 20 pounds thinner than I am now. And so I get into this very tiny hole. And fortunately, someone thought about throwing down a piece of plywood down at the bottom. So I'm able to crouch down and protect myself and my feet from the burning rock. And there's this tube, the tube continues, but I can't go any further because it bends. And you can just feel this black hole has this hot breath like blowing in your face. I mean, your eyeballs are burning, your breath out, your exhale feels cool to you because the inhale is so hot. So I don't know what the temperature is, but it's way hotter than the burningest car I ever got into here in South Florida. And you're like shaking. You think you're going to get baked in there, and you're crying and you're shaking and you're like a real total mess. And then all of a sudden it's like I got quiet, it got quiet, and I stopped shaking, I stopped crying, and all of a sudden this sense of immense peace just folds right over you. And it's like you're seeing yourself. It's like there was two people there. I was experiencing all of the heat, all of the shaking, my scun knees, my burned fingers, the heat blowing in my face, where my eyeballs were being burned up. And then I was also experiencing as if I was watching myself do it. Like, wow, what a pathetic person doing this thing. What are you doing? What are you doing that for? So it's like this double thought process going on. But as soon as you went into this state of peace, it was like you knew you were done. And so I crawled back out. Every time I got to another level, it got cooler and cooler. And then you're physically spent, you're exhausted, you were up since 3 o'clock in the morning, you haven't had anything decent sleep for a couple of weeks. And so you just I laid myself out, and then it starts to rain, which is like super welcome. So what I want to ask you is, what do you think was the purpose of this initiation? What would you imagine something like that would be the purpose? Does anyone want to guess?
Pilani?
Yes.
I would assume it's to lose the fear of death.
Yeah. It is not only, and when you lose the fear of death, you also lose your fear of living. It's like a double. Did anyone else get anything from that? Marlu?
So you learn to trust that there is something bigger, something more.
Yeah.
That it's not just about the moment, but there's something bigger.
Yeah.
Regina wrote dying off of the ego.
There you go. It's true, because when something breaks, the ego just wants to keep you exactly where you are. You know, it wants to keep you safe. I mean, that's the first mind. It wants to keep you safe, but it wants to keep you right where you are, not moving forward, not happy, not just alive. So when you push your ego to the point where it breaks, then their ego, it has this opening, and that opening all of a sudden makes in that fraction, even if it's a fraction of a moment, even if it's just a moment, then there's a rearranging that takes place. Does that make any sense? So it's that letting go process. It's the ultimate surrender. Anything else? You guys are good. Okay. No one else talking. Okay. So of the initiations, that, as I said, that was one of them, but it's really about having an experience that brings you to that place where your ego does let go, where you let go of fear, where you let go of all those other things that you've been holding on to. And it rearranges permanently how you see things and how you experience things. So it's like a reconnector of some of those synapses that are at the base of the brain. When we go into traumatic experiences, sometimes there's a breaking open of the synapses at the base of the brain, and we move into, so then they're not connecting, they're not firing off, and they really need to connect. And so when we go into that state of deep peace, all of a sudden there's that healing process that goes on, and then the synapses in the brain start to reconnect, and you feel more whole, more you, more at peace. And so these were orchestrated on purpose. They were not meant to traumatize anyone. Some of us have been through initiations that we didn't know were initiations, experiences that have traumatized us. And so we need to recover that. So these were experiences meant to bring you to the edge, but not to push you over the edge. Like, for example, a lot of those men that go to war, they come back and they're not the same, but they're fractured. They lost themselves somewhere. So that's too much. That's too much. So they had these experiences that we went through. Does that make sense to any of you? Okay, so some of us have been through these initiations, or we were born into a situation that created a trauma, whether it be our family of origin or a situation that was happening on the planet, and we got stuck in that situation, whether it be a fire or a flood or acts of abandonment or situations, because a lot of traumas are not one event. A lot of traumas are day after day of repeated abuse. And those are the hardest ones. Those are the ones you can't put your finger on. Those are the ones that are the most elusive. And yet those are the ones we want to heal. So some of these initiations can actually heal those as well. That was just their methodology of growing your spirituality, is bringing you those experiences. So, I mean, if you want to write down or think of anything now that possibly any traumatic experience that really was an initiation for you, and what are you learning out of it? It's really, Huna is about to bring back all of the memories of all of the experiences you've ever been through, and bringing forward all of the wisdom and all of the knowledge from those experiences. We don't experience something that's painful that doesn't also bring us some wisdom. But we've got to get over the trauma in order to extract the wisdom. So does anyone want to, does anyone want to talk? Questions, comments? Stacy?
Yeah, I'd like to share. I went through a traumatic experience at work. I'm a pharmacist, and I went to work for Walmart. And in the process, I met some people who, I don't even know how to say this. It got to the point, I opened my mouth and said, oh, I'd like to be like something, like a manager or something. And I didn't know the person I was talking to couldn't be a manager anymore because they made her step down because she was abusing her power. And I went through a period of 2.5 years with her and an intern and a technician where they would try to input the wrong stuff, and so it would slip past me in hopes that it would slip past me. And it was very stressful. Thank goodness I had like a little angel with me who was a technician who warned me about what was happening. And like I went into the Navy when I was like 19, a little bit out of college, etc. And even I was in a war zone, not like bullets flying over my head or anything, but even the Navy was not as stressful as this 2.5 years I spent, because it's somebody's life. If any of their mistakes slipped through my hands while I was the pharmacist in charge, I'd be in trouble. So eventually, I just, left. I quit. Basically, I filed complaints through up to the regional manager. Nothing. I just left them with their job, because apparently when you die, you take your houses and jobs with you. So I look back on that now, and that was I call it like an ego death. I am so happy that happened because I feel so blessed. I went into pharmacy to help heal people. That's the main point. And I always loved the herbal means of doing stuff, natural means of doing stuff. And that allowed me, the horror that I went through there, I got to exit. I call it the matrix so far. I'm back to my roots with loving plant and herbal ways of healing people. And hopefully I'll be able to render service to the world soon with, in that modality. I also discovered that I have healing hands. Basically, I can do distance healing. And I discovered that I don't need stuff. So I had to give up this job that was paying, supposedly really, really well. And I was like, thank God I didn't buy a house or did this or did that, because I would have spent all that money, lost it. And I don't need stuff, which is really important. And the peace, even last year in 2020, when COVID was like, rah, 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 the peace I was feeling, I kept saying to myself, oh my God, I would not exchange this for all the money in the world. So I look back on that traumatic situation with those people, and I always say, oh my God, I could kiss them right now, because the peace I can feel, I don't need material stuff. I get to rediscover the herbal roots or means of healing people. I discovered I can like go across the universe if I feel like. I can astral heal with just frequency and so many other things. The main thing though is the peace. The peace is just amazing.
Wow, Stacy, and you've got it. You totally went full circle, and you extracted every juicy piece out of that that was squeezing you to the nth degree.
Yes.
I mean, it must have taken you what, 6 or 8 years to get through pharmaceutical.
It did.
Mean,
plus,
when you start thinking about how long it took to get to that point, and then all of a sudden it was like exploding in your face.
Yeah.
And if had you taken malice, had you thought in other directions, it could have backfired really badly on you. And you were able to leave and then take the benefit. That's just really
the best benefit, I would say.
Yes, the
The
best.
best benefit doesn't even count me in it. The best benefit is that I got introduced to this realm with people like you guys. That's the thing. So I have connections like with you guys and with some other people. So I like, if you had told me 5 years ago there were people like this in the world who have beautiful hearts, I would have thought y'all were crazy.
And now you won.
Exactly. So this is like the group of people. I mean, even like you guys, my intention group, my energy group, and all other people I bump into that have like this service to humanity type of. We're not perfect. Yes, we want stuff. We want
Yeah,
to live in a place, but we'd also like to help people, and a whole community of people would like to help people. That's amazing.
yeah.
So that's the good stuff. Yeah,
Wow.
guys.
Blessing. There you go. There you go. Wonderful. Okay. So here I'm going to show you just a few other things. Here you can see this is part of the YPO Valley. So I'm just going to show you that. And
Elaine, before we move forward, I think Regina has her hand
oh,
up.
Regina, sorry, Regina.
That's okay. So yeah, I was just gonna share an experience I had actually in Hawaii. It was kind of like my first. I think I would definitely say it was like that breakdown that you were talking about, Pialani.
Yeah.
And this has been really great. Thank you for sharing your experience and your teachings. I had a very definitely, I would say, traumatic experience in Hawaii. A lot of things happened. One of them, I got to teach yoga for the first time actually in Hawaii, which was really beautiful. And there was a lot of things just relationship wise and also within myself, like feeling like I was playing small and feeling like I wasn't showing up fully. And some of that was related to my gifts, kind of like what Stacy was talking about. Like I felt like I was like caged, or like capped. And Pele definitely doesn't let us do that. If we go to Hawaii and we get to be graced by Pele, I think that is a huge opportunity, but it really brings up a lot of the shadow stuff. And I came back to Florida in a wheelchair because I burned my feet on the fire walk. So it was super intense and I couldn't walk for 3 weeks. And I was trying to do it the holistic way. So I was just putting lavender oil on it, on my feet. And we have a family friend who's a podiatrist. And finally, after like 2 weeks, I couldn't handle it anymore. And I was like, hey, what can I do? And she was like, honey, you should have been on antibiotics the day you got home. And I was like, no, I don't want to. And I waited another week. And then finally, after the 3rd week, I was like, I want to walk again. And I mean, obviously I could walk, but it was like excruciating. And so many things happened after that, like good things, but I had to go through, like you said, that dark time and, got to see a lot of my shadows and it was beautiful. So
Yeah.
really intense.
Yeah. The energies are so powerful there. And the veil is thinner there. So the information from your higher self is thinner. So you're going to get more of that information from the angelic realm. You're going to be more connected. You're going to get more downloads in that island. It's kind of like the heart chakra of the planet. So, and as far as relationships thing, they say if you have a relationship, you bring it there, and if more relationships break up in Hawaii, or because of Hawaii than any other place. But if you like you go for a honeymoon and then you can't stay together, I mean, like you'll know if you're still married after your honeymoon in Hawaii, you're meant to be married. So yeah, it's very powerful, very powerful. So wow, no, and you're such a blessing to this group. So I just want to thank you for everything you share. You're such a big contributor. And now you can really walk your talk and stand in your power. So I was going to show you the wild horses. Yeah, so they run wild here. I guess they came here from with the Portuguese ships. And so this is, you can see this is just a photograph. But just as this horse is actually walking toward the thicket, and there's a heiau in there. And so the Tahitians overturned the original heiaus because they were heiaus of heiau is a temple of love, and they were really sacred, and they were activation points for higher consciousness. So when the Tahitians came, they came and they interrupted. They did human sacrifice in these heiaus to disrupt, to disconnect the channel that they actually represented. But the original, just like us, you can really throw a human being around a lot, but you're not going to destroy the essence of the soul. It's impossible. You may think that it's not available at the time. And some people get pretty messed up and they lose their life, but they don't mess up their soul. So it's the same thing. So we were brought there to actually overturn the abuse of power in these heiaus. And while I was there, I was in a very deep meditation. I was actually propped up against a tree. I was not sitting down. I was propped up against a tree. And when I opened my eye, I felt something lean next to my shoulder. And when I opened my eye, there was a big eye looking at me. And I was like not startled. I was in such a state of peace. I was not startled. And I realized it was a horse. It was one of the horses had just like they gravitate toward this energy of love. And so and this is a wild horse. I don't just go up and touch any regular horse in a stable. So I was able to touch her nose and stroke her. And then I was able to stroke her mane, which, pulled some of the weeds out of her mane. And then I start stroking her body. And then the other people who are meditating wake up and we start stroking this horse. We're like doing this stroke on her because she's small. She was about to give foal. She was huge. She came down into the thicket to give birth. She felt the energy. And so she stayed there before she went deeper into the thicket to give birth. She was ready. She was ready to go. So it's just some of those like amazing gifts that it's like they're stories. No one could say, oh, this happened, that happened. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. Just I had a little bit of time. That's me in a live demonstration, and one of the waterfalls. This is a painting that I have in one of my rooms. So, and okay, there we go. So, all right. So I would like to also do it's like an energy healing. We say a remote Reiki. So this is going to be the remote higher self-alignment. The higher self-alignment is part of bringing all of our aspects into an alignment. It's like when we have they call the three selves, the ku, the lono, and the kane. When the three aspects of our consciousness are in alignment, it's like this laser beam of focus. It's like when we come into full alignment with our purpose in being here now, it connects that head and the heart, the aspect. So we move forward into the thinking and to the knowing of who it is. So if you want to sit or if you want to lie down, or what I'd like to do is to demonstrate this, the energy movements. There's some symbolism the way there is in Reiki. But I'm going to send it through the waves to all of you who are, so just get yourself comfortable to receive this. And I'm going to get some music on while you settle down. So I'm going to give you like a minute just to get yourself, make sure you're comfortable. And okay. Whoa, sorry. It's not relaxing when it's too loud. Okay. All right, so getting yourself comfortable. And, wherever you are, know that you're going to be receiving this energy healing. And this is part of the Huna energy, part of the process. So,
Are we supposed to be hearing a music?
can you hear the music?
No.
Yes, you are supposed to hear the music. Okay. Can you hear it now?
Yes.
Okay. And can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So, invoking all beings that we work with. Your own master teachers, your healers, the guides, your angels, the archangels, all the God and goddess beings, the ascended masters, and giving them all permission to work with us, through us, around us, on any and all levels, however this is in alignment with our best and highest interest. For we desire this, it is good, for the blessing of all, and so be it. So just begin breathing, and breathing in light, and letting go of everything in the way of your greatest life, and knowing that this is a perfect opportunity to let go of anything and everything that you no longer need, or that no longer serves your purpose in being here now. So just breathing very deeply and fully, and knowing that every cell wants to function perfectly and ecstatically. And so just going through your body and giving yourself permission, breathing more deeply and more fully to allow your fullest and your highest experiences here now. Using each breath, each moment, each movement, just going into the memories and just carrying yourself deeper and deeper into your own inner knowing, going all the way with the breath and all the way into the power of the love that's behind it all. So just take a nice, long, slow, deep breath in. Let yourself release into your exhale. And just breathing in golden white light through the top of your head and extend it all the way down your spine. into the heart of creation, breathing deeper and opening up to all of the God and Goddess energies, the totality of love, allowing that column of light to expand and letting go of every thought that ever created conflict between your head and your heart, your thinking and your knowing, self and source in total alignment here now. So just breathing, and we're passing the light through the brain, across the body, across the universe, across creation, and just allowing the male and the female aspects within you to be in perfect alignment here now, all parts in total agreement to allow you to express all of your love. And just breathing deeply and fully and opening up still more, so you may enter more deeply and fully into that divine union, into that sacred marriage within. For the union of love balances everything in life. Opening up the circuits between the two sides and letting your male and your female be in greater communications with each other, to be more loving within you all of the time now. And let yourself be in ecstasy all of the time now. Activating your pituitary gland and breathing the energy through like a laser beam of violet light, getting clearer and stronger with each and every breath that you take. Activating all of your regenerative capacities, you may feel your entire glandular system responding, allowing your ability to generate new cells and your higher consciousness to regenerate your light body. So be aware of your unlimited powers for transformation and transmutation, how it has a dynamic effect in your life, choosing only the quality of thought that creates your highest ideals. At any moment, you can ask yourself, is this what I choose to create in my world? So give yourself permission to live your greatest dreams, to have your passions and pleasures, and to live your purpose in being here now. And just breathing very deeply and opening up the heart and letting go of every excuse you ever had for not being in love all of the time now. Finding those excuses and letting them go. Allowing the memories stored in your heart to be revealed. Especially remembering now the enthusiasm for which you chose to be here in the first place. Remembering any promises, any agreements. Let go of any promise, any agreement, any decision, any contract, any vow that now no longer serves your purpose in being here now. Breathing very, very deeply, breathing in and letting go, because love is letting go of anything in the way of your highest life. Breathing the energies from creator to creation and filling up with them, and breathing as much air as you can possibly hold. Breathing all of the energies of all that is. And so now opening up that column of light, and the light combines with the light and radiates out like a spontaneous combustion of light, an implosion of light energies, a fusion with the totality of love that radiates out to every cell, every nerve in your body. And opening up the channels still more and allowing all of the love and the power to radiate freely to you, through you, as you, here now. feeling the light radiating out to each and every cell in your body. And again, your body knows the meaning and the healing energy of that light. The light begins to penetrate and to permeate into the core of each cell. And there's an implosion of light energy. And God and Goddess come together within you, radiating, allowing yourself to experience yourself in that pure radiance. Allow the awareness to expand. Allow yourself to experience now all of the beings that desire to be of greater assistance to you. In your imagination, you can feel, sense, know, honoring their presence as they honor you. Be aware of all the beings gathered or still gathering now. Know how valuable you are as an individual expression of their love. Know your highest guidance, your highest counsel, those beings that love you most. So just allow your impressions and your guidance to flow, letting yourself know all that divine guidance would have you know now. So just trust and accept your experiences. All thoughts manifest in your life, in your relationships, in your body, and in your world. Activating third eye point. So just let your awareness expand even more to allow yourself to see yourself as your highest guidance sees you, as you truly are. Let yourself know yourself as your highest presence knows you. Let yourself feel yourself as your highest presence feels you. Love yourself as you are loved. And opening up to all that you are in truth and letting yourself receive all of the transmissions of your higher consciousness. Allow your consciousness to expand and to receive all of the transmissions of your higher consciousness, and to know your gifts and to all the reasons that you are here now, your totality for being. For it's time to bring forth all that is valuable to you from all of the experiences you've ever been through. In this life, past lives, this universe, other universes, this dimension and realm, other dimension and realms. Breathing very deeply and opening up still more, allowing the cells to regenerate, releasing any time you deny your fullest expression. Breathing more deeply and more fully. Sova, rain, Sham, Mela, Mela. So just know what it feels like to be in full alignment and fully connected to your power. And as soon as you feel anything other than this, you will immediately know, and you will find yourself taking long, deep breaths, continually and perpetually realigning with the light, as the light, claiming your God and Goddess power with each and every breath that you take. Using each moment, each experience, using everything to remind you of the love that's behind it all. Knowing that every moment is a perfect opportunity to experience more love, more ecstasy. For you know how great the love is. So just imagine what could possibly happen if you could feel like this, or even better, all of the time now. Feeling more present and more in your omnipresence presence. Breathing very deeply, opening up to the ecstasies of life, and know that you are a powerful being. Releasing any of the traumas of the birth. So let yourself know that at every moment, you have everything you need to accomplish all of your goals and to have your true heart's desire, and you will never be denied. Accomplishing whatever is in your best and highest interest is always in the best and highest interest of everyone else. So walk this planet in full awareness of all that is yours. So just let yourself be with your awareness. Just let yourself come on back slowly. Open the breath still more. Okay. Are we back yet, guys? I want to hear from you. Do
We're back, Pete Ilani.
Okay, so I'm trying to get my screen off so you can see me a little better than. I'm a little technically challenged.
There you go. I got it.
Oh, you got it. Thanks. Okay. Any sharing? That would be nice if you could share your experience. That was just the remote healing. You're welcome, Regina. Thank you.
I like to share.
There.
Hello. Whew, I went deep.
Good.
I went deep. I think at some point I even left. Don't remember. Like I was hearing your voice and then so it just felt very, very healing. I just felt really surrounded by just, divine flow of energy and just like doing the breathing and calling in. And that was really, really beautiful. Thank you so much. Very, very powerful. Very, I could just feel the life force energy. The Huna, is that right? Is Huna the life force?
That energy.
Yes, so very powerful. Thank you so much. Exquisite.
Thank you. Oh, and you have the you have the infinity on your neck because the energy is very much uses the energy. That's part of the dance of creation is the infinity. I guess we.
Oh, it looks like we lost her for a second there.
Energy's high. That's why she's frozen.
Mercury retrograde.
Yeah, right.
We lost
Okay.
you for a sec.
You're back. We lost you for a minute.
Okay.
Yes. So you were saying about the infinity. That's the movement of the dance.
It's part of the flow of the Huna energy. They use the infinity. It's part of the hula hula. It's part of that.
Well, definitely felt. Thank you.
Good. Anyone else want to share? I left a little bit of time so we could talk and leave open for questions because it's really hard to just prepare what to share when it's really nice to have questions to things I didn't think of talking about. Anyone? No questions, guys?
The experience was
Pilani?
wonderful.
Yes, yes, Lizette.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was going to ask a question. If we wanted to be able to go deeper with this work,
Yes.
what would we need to do? Like, what would be a good next step to start incorporating this work and possibly even getting initiated in the future? Or like, what do you suggest would be a great way to proceed?
Wow. Well, I teach the alignment process, which is like an energy healing, which really actually works very well with Reiki.
I'm sorry, Pilani, you froze. I couldn't hear you.
She's affecting electronics. The energies are really high.
She was perfectly fine the entire time.
I
And then
know,
she
thank
dared to
goodness.
send energy healing through technology on our group
Thank
today.
goodness. So am I still frozen?
You're good. You're good. You're back.
Now you're good. You're
Okay,
good.
so to answer her question, as far as now the initiations, it was like it's kind of like I came in at the right time, and then it like disappeared. Like there's no more Uncle George, and then my other Kumos are not around. So it's like that's not available, the initiatory process that I went through. But as far as I learned, I was at many levels with this work. So it was kind of like I was to bring that energy here into the United States. You know, of course I wanted to stay in Hawaii, you know, who else wants to, you know, swim with the dolphins and run around with a loincloth and drink coconut milk. I mean, but I was sent back here to bring that energy. So I do teach the energy. I can do an energy class because it's in the wording, it's in the energy work. The alignment is the most powerful process, even though it's actually a short process. The Lomi Lomi, I had to search it out myself. I had to get other teachers. And so this is a collection. The knowledge I have is a collection of like 30 years process. So if that answers that question.
Yes. Will you be offering classes, or will you be offering any of this?
I would love to do in-person classes because it is laying on of hands. It is, as I said, we could do remote, but laying on of hands is extremely powerful, because then you're working with the cellular memory, and that's why, you know, there's nothing more powerful than human touch. And we've been very creative here with being able to heal, and there is remote healing, but there is just something very powerful about that the healing of our heart center, and when you're in person. So I would really love to do an in-person class. It's experiential. It's so that, you know, I guess let's wait 6 months, maybe then we can do that, and we feel comfortable doing that, and we're not, you know, let's at least try 6 months. If not, we'll think of something else.
I hear you,
Mark?
Pilani. I hear you. But we're in a world of virtual workshops, and I'm sure many of us are willing to support you in creating a workshop or a course or a program that would work experiential, that would be through energy, that could be through the computer. There's many of our sisters that live in other states and that live in other places in the world, and we all get to partake from this beautiful program that you're going to create. And I'm sure that if you really sit with it, you'll know that you can do both. You don't have to wait.
Okay.
I am actually so open. I've literally been in a weird stage. Oh, hold on, I don't have my video on. Sorry. I've been in a weird stage right now where I don't feel like creating something, but helping somebody else create something and putting it. Maybe we can even put it on the Red Tent Goddess site. So you don't have to put it anywhere else. Like, yes, please. Oh, so please bother me about it, please.
I'm in. I'll help out.
Yay.
Okay.
Pilani, you have support.
All right.
You're manifesting this right now.
Great. Yeah.
Red Tent Goddess Academy. Woo woo.
I mean, the more we share this alignment, or the Reiki energy, or the universal light, or the universal knowledge, or anything from the heart, the more we can come into greater levels of alignment with who we really are, and come from our heart center and stay in balance, you know, and then we share that with our you know, our immediate family and people that we love, our sisters, and it's like amazing. Like my kids will come over and they say, look, can you share this with me? Do you have a minute, mom? And it's just because they feel out of sorts, and they know that this just really it's kind of like a left right brain activation. It balances the left and the right hemisphere of the brain, because when we're out of alignment with ourselves, when they're either we're left or right brain dominant, and it doesn't matter which one, we're just like this tire that's just like an overinflated tire on one side, and it's not that the left side of the brain or the right side of the brain is better than the other. They just really want to be in balance. They want to be in love. And and when we're out of alignment, it's just basically we're in a reactive mode, and we're just coming from we're out of reactive to what's going on out there. And so it would be really nice to share this, and the more we share this, that it's kind of that ripple effect.
I was also thinking that the red tent could be your little safe haven, where I'm sure you feel comfortable here, where you could start here and then practice for taking it out to newer people. Yeah.
Great. Yes.
I don't know
Yeah.
if you've done that before, but I'm just saying that's what it feels like.
Thank you. Thank you.
Pilani, I have another question. In the modality that you learned and in these teachings, are there morning and evening exercises that you do? For example, I know it's different from yoga, but maybe some types of like physical exercises that go with the work, with like the breath work and the style of the huna. Is there something like that?
Yeah, I mean, it becomes a lifestyle where you really do a lot of earthing. You need to be grounded. I mean, the first thing I do is I wake up, give my husband a kiss, and I open that sliding glass door and I'm on my patio. I'm just like, and as I said, that's really the morning prayer we did is Hele Mai Uhani, is just to like connect with the earth, is that's, and then also the dance of creation, which is part of the energy work. It comes into you. It's like so I don't have to dance while I'm doing the alignment, because it's in me. It's part of what I was talking about, the infinity. It's part of that wave, that's energy that you adopt. Did I freeze again? Okay.
You did, but
So,
we heard you. We could still hear you. Thank you, Pilani.
Okay.
Ilani, what
Okay,
about
good.
the music that
Alright,
you
so-
started with? The music that you started with, the circle with the horn,
Yes.
and then the lady that was singing, that really really touched me. I felt like it was a wave, like I was in the water, the way that she sang. I'd really like to hear that again. I'd like to know if you can share that music. Is that possible?
Sure. That particular part was very it's a short chant, and it came from let's see if I can get to, let's see, I'm on my
If you can, just share it to the chat, the WhatsApp chat. That would be wonderful.
playlists. So this Yeah, it came from, this particular one came through, it was a play that they did in Hawaii. Let me do this. You are familiar? Ooh. And that was the play, but that was one of the opening chants for the play of Ula Lena. Okay, let's see.
Stacy, we have, so Stacy, I know that you tend to buy like whatever you see a cool masterclass or something, you tend to come in for $25. But just to let you know, there's a $27 membership that comes with all of the events for the month, and it comes with the WhatsApp, and now we've also have a Telegram chat. So it's all of that. Since you already paid the $25, if you get in a call with me right after this, I can probably get you like a 30-day free trial because you already paid the 25, and then after that it'll be 27. What do you think? Yeah, cool. Okay, just stay on until the end, and then we'll do that. Sorry, Pete, Ilani. Wanted to answer that question. I had a question about what books you recommend for like if I wanted to learn more about Huna while waiting for your course to come out. Along the way.
You know, that's the thing with Huna. It is like pulling teeth finding information. Of course, I got Long's book, and Long's book is written so far back. There's so much misinformation because of where he came from. So there's some, I can put some novels. There's some novels that actually has a lot of actually really good Huna in it and some information. But I've basically had to extract a lot of information from places. So it's but the best one is the where I read the excerpt that had a lot of information about Huna. Let me see, where did I put those papers? I'm like everywhere. Okay, so the name of the book is Lost Secrets. I'll type it in the chat to, I'm gonna say to everyone, right? Okay. Okay. Okay, so there's 2 volumes to that. So that's the most complete Huna book and the most up to date because he was getting the information from Uncle George Niobe, and that's who I worked with. There's a few other books. Finding a good dictionary is hard, so it's been a process. Zero Limits. Okay, have you read that book? Zero Limits. Okay, about Dr. Okay, hold on.
All right, I found it, and I'll send the PDF file to the WhatsApp chat.
Okay. Zero
for
Limit.
The Lost Secret of Ancient Huna.
Oh yeah.
Is there 2 of them?
There's 2.
Ah, okay. I'll send both.
2, a volume 1 and a volume 2. And it's about Dr. Okay, and then Zero Limits is about the Ho'oponopono, the most recent Ho'oponopono.
Zero Limits. Okay, I'll look for that one.
And that's about Dr. Hulen. It's written by Joe Vitale.
The Secret Hawaiian System for Wealth, Health, Peace, and More.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of those are just really weak, honestly. Some of them
When
are.
it's come on, do it. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna take out the video background. Choose none. All right.
Limits.
That one.
Oh, okay. Zero limits. Yes, yes, yes. That
Okay.
one. That's the Ho'oponopono one, and it's about Dr. Hewlin.
All right. I will send these 3 to the WhatsApp chat.
Okay, great. Perfect. Okay, well, thanks everyone for staying and connecting and
Yay! So thank you, Pete Ilani. Great timing. It's 8:50, so you did great. I don't even prepare because I was looking up those books. So let me quickly grab the next event. All right, share screen time. Boom. All right, so next events, we have for the Red Sign Goddess Academy girls, we have a sharing circle for the Enchantress and the Manifesting Journal tomorrow, Mom. Yes, still happening. Yay, cool.
Yeah, it's going to be a meditation of the 12 dimensions. So we're going to be going through the elements and all the way to cosmic. So it's going to be a huge meditation. It'll probably be about 40 minutes long. I'm sure it's going to open up a lot of heart and love for a lot of people. And everybody is welcome to it.
Cool. There you go. She doesn't do that often. So that's possible. So I guess, Mom, if everyone's welcome, you can add the Zoom link tomorrow. Yeah, cool. And then sharing circle for the priestess program. Lisette, you still here? You want to quickly say what you're going through?
Yeah, so for this particular, we're studying the Hindu pantheon. We just finished it, but we always do a sharing circle at the beginning of the month. This particular sharing circle is going to be a very special one because Marlu is going to be sharing secrets on how to do pendulum work. And she's going to be also doing truth testing, right, Marlu? Truth testing and pendulum.
Nice.
For the priestesses. So it's going to be a special circle.
Perfect.
And then we do the Egyptian pantheon later in the month. We start.
So that's gonna be the 9th and the 23rd. The girls will be going through Egyptian pantheon.
Yes,
we have
correct.
Lisette also doing a free goddess connection circle that will be on Zoom. This one's open to everyone as well. And we're going to start trying these out for the next like 3 months. So we'll figure it out if we're going to continue by January. But for the next 3 months, we're going to be doing free goddess connection circles, 5:45 to 6:45 p.m. right before the new moon events so that we can connect to a specific goddess. I think we're starting off with Bridget, Lisette?
Correct. We're doing Bridget.
Yeah. Perfect. And we also have the free weaving sharing circles that are happening in an hour before the full moon events. And the free weaving sharing circles, if you've never weaved before in general, we're starting with embroidery and we're doing a beautiful project that I don't have with me at the moment, but it's like a woman doing this. And then it's like half her head is flowers. So we're learning like 6 different types of embroidery stitches and it's a lot of fun. After that, and we have the new moon event, which is Libra Air, which Claudia has been working her beautiful booty off in creating this one. And it's a Libra Air with Mercury retrograde. And we have like 6 or 7 retrogrades happening at the exact same time, which I'm sure Monique will talk about. So it's going to be a good one. We have Red Tent.
Can I share?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead,
Yes, I'm here. Yes, so I'm excited about the Goddess Connection Circle. Thank you, Lisette. And really just to give everyone an opportunity, just like Jocelyn mentioned, for women to connect with different goddesses and then go right into the new moon. It is a very special new moon. It's our birthday month new moon. So it's also Jocelyn's birthday on the 3rd. And it'll be my birthday on the 8th. And the new moon is on the 5th. So we're like right in the middle of it. And we're actually going to be working with the goddess Lakshmi, who's we've been working with in the priestessing class. And I've actually been working with her in the last few months. So she's been coming through very strongly. And we're going to have a beautiful ritual to share with the ladies for the new moon. And also Sister Johanna will be back to share some of her gifts with the goddess Lakshmi and Kalinatha Yoga. So it'll be a special circle that would be next Tuesday, and also celebratory of our birthdays. So hope to see you there.
Oh snap, I didn't know we were celebrating our birthdays. Happy surprises. Okay.
Month. It's our birthday month.
Yay. The whole month. That's right, girls. All right. So after that, we have Red Tent Kids in October. Mom.
So this is an introductory class, so it's no cost. There's no membership for it, and the children are going to do puppets of their voice of wisdom and their voice of judgment. So their critical voice and their happy voice, their good voice. So they're a cheerleader and their supervillain, right? And they'll get to understand that they have a choice at every given moment, that they can choose to listen to one or the other.
Oh my God. Yay. So I'm loving the Red Tent Kids. We're doing introductions until I believe the end of the year, correct? And then starting in January.
Yeah, supposedly it was supposed to be till November, but yeah, we're gonna keep it going for free until December, and then January we begin. But we do have a Facebook group for the parents that you can join freely. It's called Racing Starseeds, and in this Facebook group we do a live event for 1 hour in the end of the month, which explains to the parents a lot more in detail what we taught the kids in 15 or 20 minutes. We teach the parents in over an hour, and then we do a full workshop for the parents so they really get it.
Beautiful. And ages for Red Tent Kids.
It varies 7 or 8 years old till 12.
Okay, cool. All right, thank you. So we have Red Tent Kids happening. We have Daughters of the Red Tent happening October 21st. I think it was officially decided. So we'll be doing an introduction to Daughters of the Red Tent are for daughters that are more in the area of like menarche, about to bleed or are officially bleeding and want to learn more about becoming a woman. And it's still fun activities, still self-love, boundaries, all the things, but it's also a little more teenager like. So we have that going as well. So we have kids, we got teenagers, we got adults, we got all the things. And Red Tent Kids, by the way, is open for girls and boys. So we have both available at this time period. So yay, that's happening. And then we have the master classes, but I'll get there. Enchantress, we have the Enchantress programs, the priestess programs, like it's the Egyptian pantheon throughout October. But for the Enchantress program, we have the aura and energetic protection. And then the other one is shamanic work, which I believe Mom is going to be adding a little bit about Hawaiian shamanism as well in there. I think you said maybe, no, maybe. Oh.
That's in the work.
It's in the works. So she has that and all kinds of other information in there. And then the 2 master classes that we have is Dreams 101 Masterclass by Melanie. Melanie, are you here still? Would you like to say something?
I am here.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, so I didn't know I was going to be talking. I'm like half in the middle of making lunch. Circle back to me, please.
Okay. All right, cool. So Dreams 101 Masterclass, she's going to be going over how to interpret your dreams, why you like what is a dream, and so much more, which is going to be really cool. And then we have Akashic Storytelling, Discovering Your Light Codex Masterclass by Harris Adele. And she's the one that does our Red Tent shawls. I don't know if anybody has their shawls with them at the moment, but she creates light codes on the Red Tent shawls that we use. And it is absolutely incredible how she connects to our 5th dimensional selves. And she's going to be teaching us how to find our own light codes and connect to our 5th dimensional self. So that's going to be a really cool little program. And the last thing that I wanted to mention is that we have underneath the academy, we have journeys. And I don't know, you girls can actually come here. And if you're not part of the Red Tent Goddess Academy, you can buy a specific journey just on its own, or you can buy the Red Tent Goddess Academy for a month, 2 months, and enjoy all of them. You'd get all of them. And you would technically get the Enchantress program and the Priestess program for a month or two. You wouldn't get the certification, but you can enjoy, like, for example, the Egyptian Pantheon, or you can enjoy aura energies and yes, Mom?
And the manifesting journal is also included.
Yes, and the manifesting journals here as well. And so are all of these other little courses. And one of the courses we have is called the 7 Principles of Life. And this is actually a Huna practice. Once upon a time, I was in a very depressed mode. And what saved me was learning about Huna. And I just, something happened where I fell in love with Hawaii and Huna in particular. And I started learning about kahunas and what all these things meant. So I created a very simple 7-day practice to go a little deeper into Huna. And I'm always wanting to learn more about Huna. And it's like one of my my bucket list goals to become like a Huna practitioner, or whatever you would call it. So I'm pretty excited about learning more from Pi'ilani. Her next course is going to be on December 7th. So that's going to be part 2 of this masterclass. All right, it's officially 9. Mel, you want to say something very fast about Dreams 101 and we shall call it a day?
Yeah, sorry, my hands were full of ranch. So hi everyone, by the way. Yeah, so just a little bit, I'm gonna go over like sleep and the importance of sleeping habits, like healthy sleeping patterns, just dreams and dream interpretation in general. I'll get a little sciencey with you guys too. And of course, like I'll touch a little bit on like lucid dreaming and astral travel with it too. Yeah, so it's gonna be a really big like information, because that's what I do. Lots of information, and it's something that I really love, so I'm super excited to be teaching this. Yeah, thanks, I'm complete.
All right, we're good to go. And one last thing, Connie just joined our membership. So just a quick, oh my God, yay!
Yay, Connie! Woo!
Yay! And then hopefully after this, we'll see if Stacy joins and we can celebrate in the WhatsApp with little gifts of like, oh my God. So that's it. Thank you, sisters. Happy you came by. Thank you, Pi'ilani. It was
welcome, Connie.
Great meditation. And I love learning about what aloha means and ohana means, and like, oh, I'm so happy. So beautiful. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Pilani.
Great class. Thank you,
Thank you, Pilani. It was
Thank
awesome.
you. Oh, good. I was nervous.